Okay, the last step in the cell cycle is cytokinesis. So here I've said, please watch Brain Pop video on mitosis. And they give a little bit of a description that shows how this works in a plant cell. And that's why I want you to watch this one as well. Okay, so cytokinesis begins during telophase. Okay, so far what we have been drawing is an animal cell. Okay, that's the same kind of cells that are in you and me. And in an animal cell, can I go like this? Like this? Okay. In an animal cell, the cell membrane pinches into two. Okay, each daughter cell has identical copies of DNA, nucleus, organelles, and the cytoplasm. And each daughter cell begins interphase and continues the cell cycle. Okay? So I'm going to show you what cytokinesis would look like. Okay, so we'd have now two cells. Okay, we have a fully formed nuclear membrane. Okay, we have our nucleolus. We have our chromatin. We have our centromeres. And we'd also have our centrioles somewhere in the cell. Okay, so that is cytokinesis. That is the end. We go from telophase to cytokinesis. Okay, we start the cell cycle with just one of these cells. Okay, then we go through mitosis and we end with two cells. Okay, now the plant cell, which is what we would find in onions and tulips, in celery. Okay, here two new cells are formed as the cell wall. That's key. Okay, so cell wall, this is key. Just like over here, cell membrane, that's key. That's the big difference, okay? So the cell wall or the cell plate grows down the middle. Of the cell, leaving two identical daughter cells. Okay, each daughter cell begins interphase and continues the cell cycle. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw you three plant cells. So kind of one rectangle, two rectangles, three rectangles. And they are more like rectangles because they are rigid. That's what lets a plant stand up, right? And they're very firm. They're filled with water, okay? Here we go. So we'd start off with a nuclear membrane on both sides. I'm just going to draw that in all three of these cells as I show you the progression. Okay, we'll have a little nucleolus in each one. Okay, then I'm going to have a chromatin in each one. And remember, they have to be identical. That's the whole thing. You can't have one cell looking different from the other cell. Oh, I see what I did. That's okay. I didn't want to use the same green for my nuclear membrane as I used for a chromatin. My bad. That's just me being picky. Okay, and then our centrioles. Again, you can pause at any time. So here, as cytokinesis is happening, a cell wall is starting to form in the middle of the cell. So here the rectangular shape doesn't pinch together. This cell wall or this cell plate starts to form, okay? And then it gets a little bit bigger, okay, until it becomes solid. Okay, and this is cytokinesis. Okay, that's the splitting of one plant cell into two is when this plate starts to form. Okay, and here cytokinesis in the animal cell is when the two cells split into two identical cells. Cytokinesis. Yay! Okay, so make sure you've watched both of those mitosis videos, and now it's your turn to go to the Explore Learning and do the cell division activity. Okay, great job. Any questions? Let me know.